Hi everyone, this is Lorena Freya, and welcome to Journey into Witchcraft.
In today's episode, we're going to discuss spell timings. This is an important step to learn if you plan on casting spells or writing your own spells. We're going to be learning about the zodiacs, days of the week, planetary alignments, and how to calculate planetary hours. Let's start by going over timing by zodiacs of the moon. So when the moon is in Aries, it's a great time to focus on leadership, willpower, protection, intelligence, success, and self-confidence spells. It's also a fire sign, so consider including an element of fire into your spells. When the moon is in Taurus, it's a great time to focus on prosperity, love, joy, growth, stability, preservation, protection of achievements, physical issues, and psychological issues. It's also an earth sign, so consider including an element of earth in your spell. When the moon is in Gemini, it's a great time to focus on communication, moving, short travel, creativity, self-expression, self-confidence, and reconciliation. It's also an air sign, so consider adding an element of air into your spell. When the moon's in Cancer, it's a great time to focus on family protection, home protection, fertility and pregnancy, emotional well-being, finding new love, and supporting feelings. It's also a water sign, so consider including an element of water into your spell. When the moon's in Leo, it's a great time to focus on social status, self-confidence, courage, enthusiasm, self-expression, passion, adventure, sex, and love. It's also a fire sign, so again, consider adding an element of fire into your spell. When the moon's in Virgo, it's a great time to focus on career, intelligence, health, and personal development. It's also an earth sign, so again, try adding the element of earth into your spell. When the moon's in Libra, it's a great time to focus on justice, relationships, settling disputes, legal matters, marriage, and love. It's also an air sign, so again, try adding an element of air into your spell. When the moon's in Scorpio, it's a great time to focus on spiritual growth, sexual problems, exorcisms, warding, protection, black magic, to use or to protect from, and necromancy. It's also a water sign, so consider adding an element of water into your spell. When the moon's in Sagittarius, it's a great time to focus on desires, truth, success in sports, long trips, and long relocations. It's also a fire sign, so again, consider adding an element of fire into your spell. When the moon's in Capricorn, it's a great time to focus on banishing, dissolving curses, warding, separation rituals, protection, career, concentration, and politics. It's also an earth sign, so again, try considering adding an element of earth into your spell. When the moon's in Aquarius, it's a great time to focus on creativity, expressiveness, friendship, freedom, problem solving, intuition, spiritual training, meditation, and visualization. It's also an air sign. And when the moon is in Pisces, it's a great time to focus on creativity, expansion of consciousness, meditation, clairvoyance, prophetic dreams, prophecies, and glamorous spells. It's also a water sign. Now let's look into timing your spells by the day of the week. So Sunday is ruled by the sun. The energy of this day is good for relaxation and spending time outdoors. Rising with the sun will give you energy. It's best to avoid any active work and clear your mind from all worries. The best spell work and activities to do on a Sunday include power, success, promotion, fame, wealth, prosperity, exorcism, healing, hope, fortune, work, God rituals, confidence, strength, growth, self-expression, decision-making, breaking habits, authority, and sports. Now, Monday is ruled by the moon, so the opposite. This gentle, calm day is best for engaging in purification and relaxation rituals, as well as tidying up. Now, meditation will help calm the mind. Make time for yourself and your loved ones. Some of the best spell work and activities for Monday include intuition, travel, sea, hunting, cycles, reproduction, dreams, psychic work, justice, divination, femininity, healing, purification, peace, goddess work, and water spells. Then Tuesday is going to be ruled by Mars. Masculine energy of the day is ideal for decisive actions, important tasks, and physical activity. Avoid conflicts and aggression during this time. Some of the best spell work and activities to do on a Tuesday include aggression, destruction, conquest, violence, animals, male sexuality, authority, passion, strength, confidence, power, protection, leadership, courage, victory, breaking hexes and curses, success, conflict, war, and revenge. Now, Wednesday is ruled by Mercury. The day is favorable for intellectual activities, socializing, analyzing, and making plans. Important negotiations and presentations are destined for success on a Wednesday. Some of the best spell work and activities to do on Wednesdays include learning, intellectual pursuits, communication, gambling, medicine, healing, commerce, deception, theft, study, travel, divination, wisdom, debt, fears, art, and creativity. Thursday is ruled by Jupiter, and it's the day of spirituality. It's advisable to meditate, turn to the higher powers, as well as to do charity work and selfless deeds for the good of all living beings. Some of the best spell work and activities for Thursdays include good fortune, growth, rites of passage, expansion, finances, career, bureaucracy, happiness, abundance and wealth, generosity, success, honor, luck, prosperity, business, and travel. Friday is ruled by Venus, and it's a day of art and beauty. It's good to take up a creative activity, spend time with your close ones, as well as socialize and make new acquaintances. Some of the best spell work and activities for Friday include music, dance, and art, special social occasions, love and emotion, female sexuality, self-love, heartbreak, healing, self-care and beauty, passion, romance, nurturing, fertility, friendship, glamour magic, harmony, nature magic, motherhood, prosperity, and balance. Saturday is ruled by Saturn, and it's the day of solitude, austerity, and purification. Do house chores, devote some time to spiritual growth and introspection. it would be better to set aside any work-related issues on Saturdays. Now, some of the best spell work and activities to do on a Saturday include spells to do with the past, aging, death, abstract thought, higher study, setting goals, transformation, cleansing, banishing negativity, protection, creativity, manifestation, drinking black tea, self-discipline, meditation, exorcism, psychic attacks, locating lost items, and locating missing persons. Now let's move on into learning how to time our spells according to the strongest planetary alignments. So first we have the Sun in Leo. So when the Sun's in Leo, the Sun is at its absolute strongest. You can cast spells for self-expression, sense of purpose, creativity, and ego in a healthy way. Now I've already discussed the moon phases in a earlier episode, but the strongest zodiac for the moon is Cancer. So with the moon in Cancer, you can focus on your feelings, emotions, motherhood, and nurturing. So Mercury has two different strong alignments. So Mercury in Gemini or Mercury in Virgo. Make sure that they're stationary and not retrograde. Okay? So the best spell timing for both of these would be mind, communication, messenger, detail, technical ability, perception, learning, and coordination. Venus also has two strong alignments. So Venus in Aries or Venus in Libra. Again, make sure that Venus is stationary and not in retrograde. Okay, so spells can be done for anything that can be seen, touched, heard, smelled, and tasted. You can also cast spells for values, art, beauty, sensuality, harmony, mediation, indecisiveness, inertia, and overindulgence. Mars also has two strong alignments, which are Aries and Scorpio. Again, like before, make sure that Mars is stationary and not in retrograde. So spells can be for action, drive, courage, leadership, assertion, aggression and anger, fighting, competition, passion, impatience, and life force. Jupiter is just like the others. They have two different strong alignments, including Sagittarius and Pisces. Make sure that Jupiter is stationary. Okay, so spells include freedom, optimism, generosity, luck, expansion, breath, truth, grandiosity, inflation, braggart, and soapbox. Just like the others so far, Saturn does have two different strong alignments, including Capricorn or Aquarius. Again, make sure Saturn is stationary. So spells for this alignment include external authority, parent or father, boundaries, rules and limitations, fear, denial, control, maturity, tradition, sensory reality, and elderhood. Our last group of planets only have one alignment. So Uranus, when it's in Aquarius, you can do some spells for individuality, uniqueness, unconventionality, and independence. When Neptune is in Pisces, You can focus on illusion, confusion, consciousness, psychic sensitivity, trance-like creative energy, all realms of mysticism, mystery, addiction, and victimization complexes. And when Pluto's in Scorpio, you can focus on personal transformation, psychological depth, soul's desire to evolve, personal resource protection, sexuality, repression, depression, obsessive behaviors, power, sex, death, renewal, rebirth, and hidden forces. Again, make sure when you're using these planets in your spell timing, make sure that they are stationary and not in retrograde. So now we're going to move on to the tricky part, which is planetary hours and how to calculate it. So what I suggest is when working with planetary hours, also work with one of the alignments. So whether that be the zodiacs or the planetary alignment. Now, planetary hours, again, are a very tricky topic. It involves math as well as the knowledge of which day of the week corresponds with which planet. Plus, you must know the sunrise and sunset times for your area that you are performing a spell in. So, the planetary hours are not going to align with a different location. You're going to have to align it specifically to your location. So unfortunately, I cannot give you the exact answer for your location. So I'm going to start off with an example. Say it's Thursday, the day of Jupiter, and the sun rises at 6:35 a.m. and the sun sets at 7:07 p.m. So we must first calculate the amount of time between the sunrise and the sunset. 6:35 a.m., we're going to calculate this into minutes. So since it's the 6th hour of the day, we're going to say 6 times 60 to get that into minutes. And then we're going to add 35 to that since there's 35 minutes, right? Okay, so that would equal 395. Okay, so let's calculate for 7:07 p.m. So 7 and 7 p.m. in military time is 19:07. So let's calculate this into minutes. 19 times 60 plus 7. Okay, that equals 1,147. Now 1,147 minus 395 is 752 minutes. So that means between the sunrise and the sunset, there are 752 minutes of time of the day, right? So since there are 12-hour intervals when it comes to planetary hours, we will divide that 752 by 12 and round to the nearest number. That makes 62.667, so let's round it up to 63 minutes. This means we will have 1 hour and 3 minutes between each planetary hour. Yes, this is why planetary hours are so complex. It's not a true hour. For this example, it's 1 hour and 3 minutes for each planetary hour. You might want to get a pen and paper for this part. So now that we can calculate our planetary hours, we have to figure out the day of the week and what that day of the week is ruled by. So since Thursday is ruled by Jupiter, Jupiter is going to be our first hour. So let's get into the hard part, right? So we're starting off at Jupiter for our first hour. So Jupiter planetary hour is going to be from 6:35 a.m. to 7:37 a.m. That gives us an hour and 3 minutes of Jupiter time. Then we're going to move on to Mars time. So Mars is going to be the planetary hour from 7:38 a.m. to 8:41 a.m. Again, that's an hour and 3 minutes. Moving on to the Sun, 8:41 a.m. to 9:43 a.m. Moving on to Venus, 9:43 a.m. to 10:46 a.m. Again, all of these intervals are an hour and 3 minutes. Then we move on to Mercury, 10:46 a.m. to 11:49 a.m. Moving on to the Moon, 11:49 a.m. to 12:51 p.m. Then Saturn, 12:51 p.m. to 1:54 p.m. Then it starts over with Jupiter. And we're going to keep going until we hit that sunset time. So once you get to this point, you're going to want to look at the times between the sunset and tomorrow's moonrise and perform the same calculations as before. So you should see the moon at 7:07 to 8:04 p.m., Saturn at 8:04 to 9:01 p.m., Jupiter from 9:01 to 9:58 a.m., and all of these are 57 minutes, right? So let's keep going. Mars, 9:58 to 10:56 p.m., Sun, 10:56 to 11:53 p.m., Venus, 11:53 to 12:50 a.m., Mercury, 12:50 to 1:48 a.m., and back to the Moon, 1:48 to 2:45 a.m., and it'll go on until you hit that sunrise for tomorrow. Notice how the next planetary hour is Venus, the planet of Friday. This is the exact time of Friday's sunrise. This pattern will be the same no matter what the day of the week. The first planetary hour will be corresponding planet to that specific day of the week. To choose the planetary hour you're wanting to cast your spell during, you must look at the type of spell and how it corresponds to the planets. So Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So during Jupiter's planetary hours, you'll want to focus on wisdom, advice, consultation, optimism, happiness, travels, journeys, wealth, blessing, abundance, amplitude, altruism, ethics, benefits, fairness, fortune, liberty, opportunity, philanthropy, philosophy, and new beginnings. It's the best time for bringing in positivity, general spirit work, seeking and providing health, exploring physical, mental, and emotional realms, facing difficulties, dealing with people, and satisfying our curiosity. It's the worst time for restrictions, routine work, budgeting, and other limitations. Mars is the planet of assertion. During Mars's planetary hours, you'll want to focus on will, courage, adventure, sports, exercise, rush, trial, encounter, insistence, ardor, combat, and energy. It's the best time for accepting challenges, overcoming obstacles in jobs, and activities requiring energy. However, Mars is quite fiery, and to prevent accidents, actions need to be watched for. It is the worst time for discussions, testing people's patience, and jobs and activities requiring concentration and high reasoning. The Sun is the luminary of integration. During the Sun's planetary hours, you'll want to focus on strength, success, determination, self-confidence, vitality, thoughts, projects, plans, decisions, authorities, recognition, achievement, advancement, creativity, dignity, and fame. It's the best time for management, planning, presentations, and creative work. Additionally, for harboring both masculine and feminine elements and being between charm and rush, it's an optimal time for sex. It's the worst time for following rules, orders, or instructions, working on details, objectivity, and routine work. Venus is the planet of harmonization. During Venus's planetary hours, you'll want to focus on love, affection, delights, beauties, communities, social activities, visits, romanticism, flirting, art, comfort, companionship, diplomacy, styles, balance, and mediation. It's well suited for experiencing something new, reconsidering preceding judgments and methods, taking another look at unsolved problems, appreciating and viewing beauty, awarding simplicity and forming groups, diplomacy, and romance. It's the worst time for standing aside discipline, training, or any physically or mentally complex activity. Mercury is the planet of communication. During Mercury's planetary hours, you'll want to focus on talks, lectures, speeches, dialogues, intellectual pursuits, learning, teaching, studying, writing, communication, transportation, ideas, conferences, correspondences, contracts, discussions, criticism, editing, information, instruction, language, literature, and traffic. It's the best time for movement, being responsive in general, such as thinking, talking, writing, etc., making physical, mental, spiritual, or emotional connections, filling in the blanks, and offering help and services. It's the worst time for administration, disciplining, training, stiffness, and preservation. The moon is the luminary of reaction. During the moon's planetary hours, you'll want to focus on feelings, emotions, tranquility, calmness, mediation, isolation, domestic affairs, family affairs, nurturing, fertility, security, memories, nostalgia, relaxation, babies, tides, subconscious, and receptivity. It would be great to use this time for prayer, contemplation, meditation, listening to ourselves, focusing inward, enjoying home life, watching over our thoughts and emotions. It's the best time for leaving everything aside and finding out what we really want to do. It's the worst time for compulsory work and cooperation. The moon calls us to just be ourselves. Saturn is the planet of control. During Saturn's planetary hours, you'll want to focus on discipline, patience, obstacles, repair, training, hard and long works, responsibility, ancestors, age, maturity, hierarchy, foundation, structure, administration, organization, command, stability, slavery, caution, honor, duty, law, restriction, deprivation, reality, pragmatism, prudence, punctuality, obligation, and principles. It's the best time for focusing, training, practicing, disciplining, administration, controlling, doing physically or mentally hard work, solving technical problems, objectivity, selfless jobs and activities. And it's the worst time for communication, socializing, and human relations. Now, if you don't feel like calculating the planetary hours yourself, there are plenty of phone apps that will do it for you. So if this is a little too confusing or complex, or you're not so great at math, phone apps are definitely for you. Now, I personally have the Planetary Times app on my phone. I believe this app is available with both Android and Apple. Now, I use an Android, so I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure it's available with Apple as well. So today we discuss spell timing when it comes to casting spells or writing your own spells. Another timing that you could also look into are the moon phases. By this I'm meaning like full moon, new moon, black moon, blue moon, waning crescent, waning gibbous, waxing crescent, waxing gibbous, right? I have previously discussed this in the last season, and I have an episode all about the moon phases, right? So you can definitely look back at that if you're interested in that as well. But keep in mind, you do not have to incorporate all of these into your spell timing, but the more aligned, the more successful your spell will be. Starting next week, we're going to start talking about the elements that you can incorporate into your spells. So we'll start off with Earth next Saturday. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this podcast. I do have the full transcription up on my blog. That's lorenafreya.wordpress.com. LORENAFREYJA.wordpress.com. Or you can follow me on my socials to get updates on all my new posts and podcast episodes. So my Facebook is Journey into Witchcraft Podcast. Instagram is at Lorena Freya. Twitter at Lorena Freya. I've got a Patreon. It's Journey into Witchcraft. And my plans start as low as $5, and you get access to my entire grimoire, as well as new spells coming every week. My TikTok is at Lorena Freya, and I also have a YouTube channel that's Journey into Witchcraft.